everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. I did go back to the movies. I risked catching COVID in order to see Spider-Man No Way Home. As you know, you regular viewers of this, all 10 of you, you know that I've been going to the movies all summer long. I went back to the movies, and because I love the movies, it's my happy place, and I was like, I'm just going to go back to the movies, it's fine. And now I have to be more selective in what I go see, because COVID cases are skyrocketing, and I really don't want to catch it. So, but Spider-Man, I wanted to see that, because I don't want it to get spoiled. Because I don't trust people. The people I know, people I follow on social media, I feel like they would wait like a week or so, then you're going to get it spoiled. It was in, 75% of the screens in every theater were playing Spider-Man. You had multiple options. There was regular, there was IMAX, there was, the Dolby Digital Theater. There were a couple of different 3D showings. Obviously, the Prime 3D sold out super quick. But there was a 10:30 a.m. Saturday showing in 3D, regular 3D, in the big 3D theater on 42nd Street that I usually go to. And the back filled up. So I sat down front. I had the whole row to myself. There were people in the row behind me, unfortunately. Hopefully they weren't breathing COVID on me. But it was good. It wasn't sold out theater. I don't know how people are buying tickets and sitting right next to each other, because also so many people buying their popcorn and sodas, taking their mask off and enjoying the film, and I hope they didn't catch COVID. I hope they didn't give COVID to me. At the end of the movie, I got up to leave, and as I turned around, there were people who were wearing masks who I'm assuming were not wearing masks during the film because they were eating their popcorn. But then there were other people who were just like, la la la, no mask, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? Anyway, the movie's amazing. I can't really talk about the movie because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So I will say nothing about the details of the film except that it was great. I do wish that they'd pushed the 3D a little more, because there were clearly shots with things coming at the camera that should have popped more, but they were very mild 3D. It was just sort of like, okay. It wasn't horrible. I'm glad I saw it in 3D, also because then it was a less crowded theater, because 3D is not as popular as it used to be. So that helps me. But it's great. It's the best Spider-Man movie I've seen. It's one of my top favorite superhero movies now. It's marvelous. And I saw a bunch of people posting about how they cried. I was like, what? I cried. Multiple times. I was moved to tears. And I thought this was the first one, but then I remembered that I actually cried at Endgame, when I first saw Endgame. Because there's, when Cap takes Thor's hammer, and then all the heroes who were blipped show back up, and it was like, I just had like a geekgasm, and I just welled up. And it was just, amazing. Fan service. So, but here, it's not fan service. Here, it's actual emotions with the characters in the film that moved me. And I was like, bravo for that. So, go see it. Don't risk your health, but it is great, and you should see it, because it's fantastic. It is amazing and spectacular, as they say. I don't know what I'm going to do about The Matrix. That's the next one that I really want to see, because I would like to see that on a big screen, preferably IMAX, but I don't know if it's going to be as popular as Spider-Man, but I still feel like an IMAX showing is probably going to sell out, and I wish there was a 3D version, but there's not, so I'm like, ugh. And there's always the option to watch that on HBO Max in the safety of my own home. So I'm a little wary of that. But I have to be more selective as to what I go and see. I still want to get my $24 a month worth of AMC A-List, but I don't want to catch COVID just to see a movie. So I want to see it in a more empty theater, please. Thank you. You just couldn't do that with Spider-Man because it was selling out all over the place. As for games, I continue to play Animal Crossing, obviously. And I'm still finding all kinds of great new stuff in the update to enjoy. So I still haven't gotten the DLC yet. I would think my husband might get it for me for Christmas, but I don't know if they have like a card with a download code on it that you can just buy, like at Best Buy or something. And I don't know if he's smart enough to think, oh, well, I'll just get him like a $25 Nintendo card that he can then use to buy the DLC from the eShop. I don't know. But I haven't really even been dropping hints about that one, so we'll see what happens. But I did finish the Assassin's Creed Valhalla Discovery Tour, which, because the Discovery Tour is like just story after story after story after story, and you don't get distracted by hours and hours of side quest, the story unfolds like in a decent time period. Like it unfolds quickly enough that like you remember things, and it's not like the regular game where it's like you've been distracted for 10 hours and now you're like, wait, what was the plot point again? Oh, right, yes. Here, things were happening at a pace, so when things took a dramatic turn at the end, I was like, aw, I don't like this. But I enjoyed the story that it told, even if it wasn't super enjoyable at the end. And I do feel like I learned a little something. Don't know if I'll retain it, but that was fine. And as I was finishing the Discovery Tour, that's when Ubisoft released the Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Valhalla crossover story, where Cassandra meets Eivor. And I did not want to play that. Firstly, because I can't figure out... I looked online to see, like, how do you play this? And it appears that I'm going to have to go and reinstall Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like, I got to clear space on my hard drive and reinstall Assassin's Creed Odyssey and then download the major update for it so that I can play the Cassandra parts, which I'm like, whatever, I played Alexios, but okay. Then I'll have to go and not delete Assassin's Creed Valhalla to make room for Odyssey, because I will need Valhalla, because it just updated with a huge update that took forever to download, and then I'll play the Eivor section of the crossover. It just seems like a lot of work, and I don't really feel like waiting a day to install Odyssey again. So I said, you know what? We're going to take a break from the Assassin's Creed, since I've been playing it for like months and months now, and we'll play something else. Unfortunately, I still don't want to go back to the world of The Last of Us. And scrolling through my PlayStation Plus games to see what else maybe I would be interested in giving a try, I was like, oh look, Days Gone. Oh, but that's post-apocalyptic and zombies. And I'm like, I really don't want... I was tempted by Mad Max slightly, because that's post-apocalyptic, but not in the same way. But I was like, I don't want post-apocalyptic, end of the world, you know... I don't want to see the world destroyed. Like, I want something more fantasy and more, you know, adventure and fantasy, and something where I can escape the real world. I don't want the real world, and I don't want the real world after an apocalypse of any kind. Zombies, pandemic, whatever. I want a fantasy world that has nothing to do with the real world. So what I landed on, actually, was Rime, which I had added. It's like years old, but it's new to me. I'd added it as a PlayStation Plus game. I don't even remember when, but it looked pretty, and I said, let me give it a shot. It's a... I don't know if you've played it. It's like an indie... It's a smaller indie game, but it's from years ago. And you're a young boy who finds himself washed ashore on an island, and there's no story or dialogue or anything. You just sort of wander and interact with the environment and do things, and I think you're slowly supposed to be uncovering a mystery, except I don't feel like I'm uncovering a mystery. There's a guy in a red cape, and you sort of follow him. You follow a fox more often. The fox like leads you through the levels to say, hey, come over here, so this is the direction you want to go in. And I have to give credit to the game for using the environment to kind of help lead you through the game, and you sort of know what you need to do without having to be told what to do specifically. It just sort of comes. And you're solving environmental puzzles to, you know, open doors and get to the next section, and I also have to say that the solving of puzzles has been pretty good so far. Nothing's been too complicated where I've been like, wait, what am I supposed to do now? And I'm sure that some people are probably like, oh, the puzzles in this game are so easy, such a waste of time. And I'm just like, well, now, see, yes, they are on the easier side, but it means that I can do it and then solve it and figure it out and go, like some of them are really simple, but then some of them it's like, oh, well, if I do this, and then if I do that, and oh, what if I do this? And then you solve it and you feel really clever. Even if it's not that difficult, I still feel clever when I've solved one of those. So don't take that away from me. I've gone through, I'm in like the 3rd world so far. I think there might be 5, I don't know. Context clues, I'm guessing that they're 5. So I feel like I'm approaching the halfway point of the game. It's not terribly long, but right now it's what I need to just sort of lose myself in a fantasy world and be like, and it's not too strenuous and anxiety producing. So that's it for this week. I don't want to make this too long. But come back next episode. It'll be my Christmas episode. I'll tell you what I got for Christmas. Probably not the Animal Crossing DLC. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows what I'll get. Find out next episode. Bye!